There's no reason that you can't use a whole lot of different papers for this assignment, but which kind of paper you use will make a difference as far as how your edges look. So if you look real close at my example, you can see these rough edges that have a slightly different texture on the construction paper. But if you look at something like this, which is a pattern paper, you can see a little line of white in some places, depending on the direction the paper was ripped in. I also, so this is several years old, just an example I have, and one of the unfortunate things is when you get up real close to it, you can see through in a few places. You can see through to the background there. So we're going to try to have you all not have that issue. But I actually want to talk about ripping paper. So if I just take and rip this paper, one side is going to end up with that white line and one side without. So if you think about as you're getting your papers ready and you think, okay, I want this long skinny bit, you want to think about which way you rip it. If I want the white line to be on the other side, if I want to make this one have a white line on either side, I need to pull the top up and the white part down. So now I've got this outlined, right? I've got this implied line of white all the way around the edge of this paper. On the other side, I've got this paper that doesn't have that white line. And of course, this is going to do different things to my color scheme than this will here. So if I want to do the same thing here, I don't want that white line. I better make sure that I'm pulling down the side that I don't want, right? And I screwed it up a little bit at the end there, but I've got most of what I can use here. If you do have a little bit of screw up, don't forget that you're going to be layering these papers, so you might end up with something over that anyway. Now, in most cases, when you're ripping on a kind of paper like this, you know, it's all, the dye is all the way through, but you may see some difference in the quality of that mark. So this one ends pretty similarly. This one you see just a little texture difference right there between the smooth texture and the ripped texture. I also wanted to just remind you, this is paper that I made years and years ago. I did some marbling, and you don't need to get as complex as doing marbling, but you could paint or color or you know, paint or color or scribble on some papers. I at one point had, playing with kids, I put paint in like bubbles that you blow in the summer, bubble mixture, and had the kids catch the bubbles on the paper. That makes an interesting texture. But you know, this is a yellow legal pad. This is some junk mail from someplace. I even grabbed this little Post-it because there's no reason that having writing on the top necessarily means that you can't use it. We saw that writing on the top doing cross-hatching will change the tone, right? So this blue paper maybe looks a little darker in tone because it's got that black over the top. And of course, patterns and things like that are fine for you to use. So you've got lots of options. You couldn't find any colored paper isn't a great excuse for this project. Now, if you do have a limited assortment of paper, so I've got some green, I've got some greenish yellow, I've got some green here, I've got some yellow here. I'm sort of building an analogous color scheme. I've got some orange that doesn't really fit in that. Maybe I want to try to just aim for this analogous color scheme and start looking for some more colors that kind of fit in with that scheme there.